Okay, Maddie Mack, since you ended the meeting, I just went ahead and made a recording of the solutions. All right, so I'm going to post this on YouTube, all right, and then you can follow along, all right? So again, 21, I was trying to tell you, I want you to go and I want you to add the two known angles, which is 90 degrees and 38 degrees. When you add that together, that's 128 degrees. Now remember, the angles of a triangle always add up to 180. So if you have two sides and you want the third side, you have to subtract, or the third angle, you have to subtract from 180. So 180 minus 128, borrow, and then 7 minus 2 is 52. So angle F is 52 degrees. Now, this again, remember, is called an isosceles. The reason it is called an isosceles triangle is because two sides are equal. All right. Now, if those two sides are equal, all right, that means these two angles are equal. All right. If those two angles are equal, all right, you have to figure out what they add up to. All right. Now, here's the key, Maddie. This is 144 degrees. So if the triangle adds up to 180, you first have to go 180 minus 144. All right, and then when you do that, you have to borrow 7, 10, 6. So that means those two angles have to add up to 36 degrees. Now, because they are exactly the same, you have to divide them by 2. All right, so now we have to do 36 divided by 2, and then that's 18. All right, so each angle is 18 degrees. Okay? And look, if I put 18 degrees there, 18 degrees there, if I did 144 plus 18 plus 18, that would in fact be 180 degrees. Okay? Now, this is the one that I was worried about, all right? Because it's a little bit more complicated, all right? But they're telling you that angle 1 is 79 degrees, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to put angle 1 is equal to 79 degrees. And then it says that angle 3 is 41 degrees. So I'm going to put 41 degrees here. So now it's real simple. This is part of a triangle, and the angles of a triangle add up to 180. All right? So because they add up to 180, you go 79 plus 41, 0, carry the 1. So those two add up to 120 degrees. So angle 2 is going to be 180 minus 120. All right, so angle 2 is 60 degrees. Okay, so I didn't think that was going to be hard for you. But one we haven't really talked about is how to find angle 4. All right. Now, what I want to remind you of is this is called a straight angle. And you already told me, you know, from there to there is 180 degrees. All right. So this whole thing is 180 degrees. So if we know the whole thing, and we have a part, to find the other part, we always subtract. So you would say 180 minus 41. All right? And if I do 180 minus 41, that's going to be a 7. It's going to be a 10. That's a 9. And so that ends up being a 339 degrees. So angle 4, this angle over here, is 139 degrees. Okay? Now notice that if I do again, 139 plus 41, that's equal to 180 degrees. Okay? Now let's move on to question, well, this over here, I want you to know, looks very confusing. All right? And again, don't be upset. Let's just talk about it. We want to name a line that intersects ZT. So I'm going to try to find ZT. So here is ZT. Here's this line. Okay? Now, you have to find another line that intersects. Now remember, intersect just means crosses. So I'm going to give you your choices. You could have said this right here, that intersects, okay? And we can call that line you could choose any of the two letters that is on that line. So you could have said WS, or you could have said YU if you wanted to. All right, there's other options there, but those are two options. All right. Now, there's also another line that intersects ZT, so I'm going to highlight that for you, Sweet Pea. This is the other line that intersects ZT. All right. And you could call that, I'm going to change that, you could say that line could be line RX, or you could say line ZY. Basically what I'm trying to tell you is you have to pick two out of those 4 points. All right, determines that lines. All right, so now I'm going to clear that out of the way for you. All right, and then we're going to answer 26. All right, name a line segment. A line segment. This is the key. A line segment. Okay? Because we're looking for a line segment that has to have endpoints. So where is PV? PV is right here. Okay? So now I need to name a line segment. All right, so I'm going to highlight a line segment that intersects. So this from here to here, notice it has an endpoint. All right, so that intersects. So we could say that could be WU. Now notice I put no arrows at the end, all right, of that segment. All right, we could also, I'm going to draw another one for you. It could be this. All right, so you could call that, or you could say RX. Okay, everybody okay? Hopefully you're good with that. All right, now again, I'll have time to review this with you. I don't want you upset. All right, I just wanted to make sure you had the solutions. Okay, I'll help you tomorrow, and I'll even get back on at 4 if you want me to. All right. Now what we have to do, Maddie Mack, is we have to name a ray. Now remember, a ray, there's so many rays on this figure, you're just not going to have to be overwhelmed. All right. A ray, and I'm going to show you, could be, I'm going to make a good color for us. Could be from here to here. That could be considered a ray. From here to here, that could be considered a ray. From here to here, that could be considered a ray. So we could name any of them as long as you have a start and no end. All right, so I'm going to say ray ZR, or we could say ray UT, or we could say YV. All right, there's lots of different names. All right. Now remember, lines that are parallel just do not intersect. All right? So I want to highlight the parallels. So this line right here does not intersect this line right here. So those are the lines that are parallel. So you would say QT is parallel to PV. All right? Now those are the only two lines that are parallel, by the way. Okay? Now you can call them other names also, Maddie. All right? Just remember, you select 2 points that are on the line. Okay? Now, name a pair of perpendicular lines. Okay, remember, perpendicular lines are lines that form a right angle. Okay? So I'm going to clear this out now for you. Right here. And then I'm going to show you the perpendicular lines, Maddie Mack. So this right here and this right here. Now how do I know those are perpendicular, Maddie? I know they're perpendicular because of this piece right here. This shows that it's a right angle. All right? Now the other one you could qualify, or you could say, is this guy right up here. Okay? I'm trying to draw it to make sure you see it. All right? So what you would say, perpendicular lines intersect to form right angles. So you could say that PV is perpendicular to RX. Okay? And then we would draw those lines. All right? Now, the other thing we could do is we could say that this, I'll draw another one, this right here is also perpendicular to this because of that. All right, so you could say that QT is perpendicular to RX also. Okay? Now we're going to name a triangle. So visually, all right, I'm going to erase this for you. Get that out of our way. Visually, this right here is a triangle. So you just say triangle U, Y, Z. All right? Now I just have, I have a few more problems. All right? Got to keep going because I think I see your sister at 2:30. All right? So, for question number 31, we now have to name, all right, the best name. All right? So you did beautiful with this work. So I know you know this. This is a parallelogram. This one is a rectangle. This is a square. You know, this is a trapezoid. This is a quadrilateral. And this, now here you have to keep in mind, because two sides are the same, you should call this an isosceles trapezoid. Okay? Isosceles trapezoid. All right, now, last page. All right? Again, the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. They add up to 180 degrees. So this plus this. So 90 plus 65
I'm going to ask him to clarify.
is 150. Then we do 180 minus 155. So this is a 7, that's a 10, 5, 25 degrees. So x equals 25 degrees. All right? Now, here's where a little bit trickier now, Maddie Mack. All right? You have to understand that the angles of a quadrilateral add up to 360. So I want you to put a plus 360 degrees. Okay? Now, this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. So if we add that up, we would say 3x plus 90 plus 90 plus 75 equals 100, or equals 360 degrees. Okay? So now 3x plus, we have to add 90 plus 90 plus 75. So 10, 19, so 265 equals 360. Now from here, Maddie Mack, we have to subtract 265.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so 3x is equal to, now when I do the subtraction, this becomes a 5, 10, 2, 15, 95. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I made a mistake on that, Maddie. Sorry, 180, 265. So see, Maddie, everybody makes a mistake. That should have been 255, kiddo.
Okay.
So that should have been 255. Okay?
I'm going to ask.
So 255. Alright? And now when you subtract, sorry about that, kiddo, that's 105. So now we divide by 3. X is equal to 105 divided by 3. And X is equal to 35. Alright? So that's our answer. X is equal to 35. Alright? Now number 39, Maddie Mack. We have to look at this. This is isosceles. Therefore, this has to be X. Alright? I mean, it's the same as this. Alright? So because it's the same, you just have to go 180 minus 27. Alright? And then you have to divide it by 2. So now the problem, 153 divided by 2. 14. 6 is 12. Now you have to do decimal and then 0.5. So X is 76.5 degrees. Okay? Alright, that was a lot of work. Okay? Don't be upset about 37, 38, or 39. You have to do a little bit of thinking on those. Alright? Now, on these now, this is just back to definitions. Alright, so I'm going to draw the radii. Remember, the radii is from the center to a circle. Alright, so AH is a radius. And then AC is a radius. And then AG could be considered a radius. Alright? Now, a diameter, remember, Maddie, was all the way around the circle.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Like,
So,
how is
from
making
here
the changes would drive people who normally would schedule
here.
in person an admin? How's it going to drive them to the website? Like, are we going to drive them to the website?
CG. That's the diameter. Okay? Now remember, chords are
Right.
line segments whose endpoints are on the circle. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm doing, I want to get this out of the way. So from here, from this point right here to this point right here is a chord. That's a chord. So it's a DF. Is a chord. Then notice right here, Maddie, that could be a chord. And then the last chord, believe it or not, Maddie, could also be a diameter. All right? So CG is also considered a diameter. Okay?
How many people were scheduling appointments
Now,
online?
the arcs. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way now. Remember, arcs are just parts of the circle, the edge of the circle. So that from here to here is considered an arc. So you would say HG. Then you could say, for example, right here is one, FE. And then you could say, for example, DE. All right? Now, the wrap sector, all right? So the wrap sector is 35 degrees, or not 35 degrees, but 35%. So we talked about this, multiply percentages. 360 degrees is equal to a circle, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 360 and multiply it by 0.35. Okay, so here we go. 0, 30, carry the 3, 15, 18. 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1, 3 times 3 is 9, and then we have 0, 0, 16, 2, so move the decimal 2 places, so we would say 126 degrees. Okay? Now, let's do this. The county sector, alright? The county sector is just this guy, alright, which is 12%. So again, we just do 360 times 0.12. Okay, 0, 2 times 6 is 12, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 0, 0, 6, 3, so now we have 0, 2, 13, 4, move the decimal 2 places, so it looks like 43.2 degrees. Okay? So the country is 43.2 degrees. Okay? All right, now listen, Sweet Pea, I will see you at 4 p.m. All right, I'll see you at 4 p.m. All right, I want to see how much work you did. All right, I made a really cool video. Hopefully you like it. I prefer to do it in person. I'm not sure why you closed me out, but I wanted to go ahead and get this done just in case. I don't want you nervous or upset, and you're super smart and you can do this. All right? So I'm going to end and see you at 4.